batería completamente cargada.
And then for the final podium spot, Sunderworthy was set to get it, but he makes contact with the lap car of Lindsey Brewer in the final corner. Jacob Abel scores very significant championship points to be the third driver on the podium. First, let's look at the championship points and talk about where Louis Foster is at right now. This is, by the way, the result from yesterday, with Foster winning, Collette and Abel on the podium.
So the big thing with Jacob Abel coming past that disabled or slowed car of Sunderworthy means that the championship is so much tighter than it would have been had those spots been reversed. Some people had great days yesterday, career best results. Some people were in the wars and ended up laps down. So everything is on the table here at WeatherTech Raceway.
So certainly Foster a point of conversation because he moved into a tie for the championship with the bonus point today. He now leads Jacob Abel by 1. And then the final podium spot that was contended and contested at the very end of the race elicited a lot of conversation. For more, we go down to DJ Clark.
Well, thank you, Kevin, and good morning, Charlie. I had a chance to talk to Yuven Sunderworthy just a few minutes ago about that contact and what was a roller coaster of a last lap.
Was faster than Jacob for most of it and managed to get by. And you know, in the end, it wasn't Lindsey's fault at all. I mean, she wasn't a Command Blue car. She didn't have to give the position up. I thought she was letting me by. She braked earlier than I was expecting. She turned in a little later than I was expecting. So I said, okay, she's letting me by. I'll take this spot. But in the end, that wasn't how it ended up. I'm just really upset to see all the hate that she got on social media and stuff like that. She deserved none of that. It's how a racer should drive, and she didn't give up a spot she didn't need to give up. So in the end, really sorry for that. And again, I put my car where I want it to be, and in the end, it ended up with a large crash damage and a loss of a spot. So unfortunate, but today we're going to put that behind us, have a ton of pace, and I think we can get back there.
Classy comments from Yuven Sunderworthy. That's how a young driver should handle that publicly.
High quality, and my respect has only increased for Yuven after that result yesterday.
And he still was able to come home with a 4th place result, the best of his career. And look at that, he starts up near the front again today. Let's go downstairs for the command.
Let's go trackside to get things started here at Monterey.
Race fans, it's time to fire the engines for this afternoon's Indy Next by Firestone Grand Prix at Laguna Seca. Here's your Grand Marshal, guest of Firestone, Julius Rigliotti, to give the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
Twenty cars are fired up, 35 laps on the way, making it 70 for the weekend. very physical racetrack, lots of grip. We're getting ready to go again, and this is how they will line up. And again, it is the same front row as yesterday. Louis Foster coming off his third win of the season, the Copart Novera Technologies car, and HMD's Kyle Collette, second yesterday, matching his best result of the season.
Inside of row 2 is the Ticket Clinic car for HMD Motorsports with Reese Gold. He had that incident yesterday. The crew did a great job changing the nose. Outside of row 2, Jacob Abel now second in your points championship, third yesterday, and he was tied for the championship lead coming into today.
Illinois' Bryce Aaron has his best start of the season, the Jaguar Land Rover of Chesterfield car, and Yuvan Sunderworthy coming off that fourth place finish yesterday, starts on the outside of 3.
James Rowe in the Topcon Andretti Global was 5th yesterday. It's his 3rd top 5 of the year. And Jack William Miller, that Patterson Dental Haven Go by Sam, 10th yesterday. Best result so far this year.
Christian Brooks with a very impressive 9th on debut in the Deploy surveillance car. He was also the biggest mover. And Miles Rowe finished 6th yesterday to continue his solid rookie season. He starts 10th in the HMD Force Indy car.
Inside of row 6, it's the Grupo Indy car of Salvador de Alba Jr. He was 11th yesterday, but he's had 3 top 10s so far this year. Outside of row 6 is Callum Hedge from New Zealand in that HRC Tony Quinn Foundation, who was 12th yesterday.
Josh Pearson starts 13th in the Open Context car, and Jamie Chadwick, a winner already this season in the Vex Andretti car, will start from 14th.
Inside of row 8, Christian Bogle in that Pelican HMD car. He was 7th yesterday. Another best result of the season for him. Nolan Aller in that 16th spot, the Martini liveried car. He had a mechanical problem yesterday.
Jonathan Brown in the Hover Energy car finished 15th yesterday, 4 top 10s on the season. Ricardo Escoto in his 3rd start of the season for Juncos Hollinger starts next to him.
Inside of row 10, Niels Colin yesterday had an incident and had finished those 2 laps down in 19th for the Super B batteries. Lindsey Brewer, that C4 Ultimate Energy car, starting 20th today.
All right, time to find out what needs to happen to finish up the second half of this doubleheader with Kimball's Keys.
So it's all about the fast Firestones. There were some drivers that opted to use brand new sticker Firestone rubber yesterday, so they only have used tires today. Other cars have sticker Firestones today. It is hot. The track temp is almost 130 degrees. We'll see if they can hold on those used tires for 35 laps. And when it comes down to winning this thing, somebody's got to take down the flying Louis Foster. He won by what should have been nearly 10 seconds. He coasted across the line yesterday. Total domination from Louis Foster all weekend long.
There was also a caution to bunch him up at one point. All right, more notes. Back to pit lane and DJ Clark.
Well, Kevin, I had the chance to talk to Jacob Abel and the whole Abel Motorsports camp, and they said it's business as usual when it comes to Louis Foster. Don't try to drive outside your means. Yes, try to get the win, but if it's not there, get the best position you can. They are thinking about the championship from now until the end of the season.
Championship has swung. It's Louis Foster. Bonus point for the second pull of the weekend. He is +1 right now on Jacob Abel. Kyle Collette is still in it, 71 points back. Miles Rowe up to 4th in the championship as well. All right, they will release when they get to turn 11. This is turn 10 right here. Pace car pulling out of the way. Foster, Collette, Gold, Abel. Third row sees Bryce Aaron and Yuvan Sunderworthy on the main straightaway for the second time this weekend. Let's go from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Foster gets the jump. Collette tucks in right behind him. He tried to go around the outside yesterday. Foster is going to try to push him wide. Collette hanging a little tighter. Gold trying to squeak through. No change. Top 3 side by side for 4th.
And Christian Brooks a little further back, driving through the dirt there in that 39 Deploy surveillance, wheel to wheel with Miles Rowe. Still trying to sort out single file here.
That blue car back there is Jack William Miller, looking to pick up some spots as well. Had his best result yesterday in 10th. Good starting position today. Looks inside, now outside. Miles Rowe in the number 99 trying to stay in front of Brooks up front. No change in the top 3. We'll sort them as we go.
Reese Gold with a little better start today, hanging in that third spot. Jacob Abel hot on his heels as they come down the hill here at the corkscrew. Jamie Chadwick side by side with Jack William Miller through the corkscrew now down to Rainy Curve.
She tried to get the spot there. Miller holds it off. On board with now Indy Next winner Jamie Chadwick. They had great battles yesterday.
Side by side through the hairpin a little further up. Great onboard shot there with Jamie Chadwick. Christian Brooks now looking at Salvador de Alba Jr. Pops to the outside. It's a long way around. It's hard to do that. We saw it not work a couple times yesterday. Christian Brooks not able to get it done.
Tries a little over-under to try to get it back, and then a switchback, another switchback, trying to find his way through. No chance right there. That is for ninth. De Alba running in ninth, Brooks in 10th.
As a driver, if you think the driver in front is a little further up, James Rowe drops a wheel, offsets some of the momentum. Big dive for De Alba on James Rowe. Christian Brooks now hung on the outside. Jack William Miller taking advantage of that momentum shift.
Side by side, Miller is going to get the spot on Brooks, moving up to 10th. And now Miller is still on the charge. Brooks under attack now. Trying to avoid losing another position or two, locking up in the corkscrew. They all get through.
Chadwick snuck past Christian Brooks, and Niels Colin is spun. Looks like coming up the hill out of turn 6 up to the corkscrew.
He'll get it going, though, and he will stay green. This is a battle just outside of the top 10. Meanwhile, up front, unlike yesterday, Kyle Collette has stayed within range of Louis Foster. Inside a second, a couple of laps in. No change in the top 6 from the way we started. Foster, Collette, Gold, Abel, Aaron, Sundermorthy. Miles Rowe has moved up 3 spots into 7th. De Alba has moved up 3 spots into 8th. And Jamie Chadwick also plus 3 into 11th.
Really good start here for Jamie Chadwick, taking advantage of some of those momentum shifts. She had an incredible all race long battle with Christian Brooks yesterday, able to clear him early, and now she's going to try and find a way past her incredible global teammate, James Rowe.
Christian Bogle has been assessed a blocking penalty to give up 3 positions. We don't know that he's done that yet. We're still looking to see who the offended party was. Bogle's coming off a great drive from yesterday. This finish of the season in 7th. Let's see if he's going to let Nolan Aller and others go by right now. It was pretty feisty there back there in the mid-pack. There's 1, 2. Is that all?
That was the third car, yep.
So unfortunately, he drops back to 18th. Foster is starting to gap just a little bit, but DJ, Kyle Collette trying to find something today to close that gap a little bit on Louis Foster.
Well, they're hoping that that little something can come as a result of car changes. They made some minor tweaks overnight to try to help the young Brazilian feel a little bit more healthy in the car, a little bit more comfortable. And with that gap holding at 1.4 seconds, it looks like it's starting to work a little bit.
Yeah, DJ, around here, as physical as this racetrack is, especially since they repaved it a couple of years ago, if you could just be that little bit more comfortable as a driver, a little more confident in what you have underneath you, you can push earlier on. Lap time-wise, though, Louis Foster is still scorching. He was the first one in the 1 minute 14 seconds. He's continuing to be 2 to 3 tenths a lap faster than anyone else on the racetrack.
Collette's a little closer today within a couple of tenths of the fast lap. Yesterday, Foster had about almost a half a second. Josh Pearson and Nolan Aller racing for 14th a little further back. Something has happened to Jonathan Brown. He has dropped back, and he's now in pit lane.
It's never a good sign when they're plugging the computer into the car to try and reset some electronics or figure out what's going on.
Yeah, we don't see any damage or anything else, so this is more of a mechanical issue. All right, so we heard that Christian Bogle needed to give up 3 spots, and we think we know why now. Let's watch the white and blue car. Aller right behind him, yeah, moves a little bit to the left there. Bogle maybe would argue he was trying to look inside of Pearson, but that's not going to be the decision.
And as far as the race stewards are concerned, the rule is you can defend, you cannot block. And sometimes people say, oh, that's slicing it really thinly. But the definition is such that a defense is you move first. You get to the bottom, which is the preferred overtaking lane before the car behind you. But if you move in reaction, that's blocking and a penalty. Once they move, you can't chase them to the bottom. You can't drive them off the road. Once they pop out behind you, you have to leave that lane for them.
I know I've said this before. I don't want to be a race steward. That is very, very difficult to make those kinds of decisions. Down to DJ. Do you know something on Jonathan Brown?
I do indeed, Kevin. It looks like it's a gearbox problem. He's complaining that he's not able to shift down. Now, he's got his gloves off in the car as they go to work behind it right now, but he has not gotten out quite yet. Charlie, and I'm sure you can talk to this, got to be so frustrating as a driver to be in this position.
It's hard, especially when you're sitting there and you hear that field come by lap after lap. You know you're going further and further down. Now, as a rookie, he absolutely needs the experience, so if they can get the problem fixed and get him back out on the racetrack, he'll take the laps around WeatherTech Raceway. Any chance to drive here at Laguna Seca. It is a lot of fun, and it's good learning for these young drivers.
Let's look back up front again, especially behind Louis Foster. No change up at the front. De Alba Jr. having a good day. We see him there in the green, red, blue car. And then there's Juven Sunworthy in the number 22 off his best day. I know it didn't finish the way he wanted, but he still was able to crawl home with a damaged race car in 4th for his best result. Started 6th, running 6th right now. Juven is starting to come on in his full season, his rookie season in Indy Next.
Yeah, that experience, he had a couple of races last year in Indy Next, which laid the groundwork for this year. Heading into the second half of the championship, we're only halfway through this season, Kevin, and Juven is really pulling on. That's a big smoky lockup right behind Juven, from Miles Rowe. And Miles will have a bit of a rough ride through his steering wheel with that flat spot for the rest of this race. There's still a long ways to go, and he has to hold on for 28 more laps.
Miles Rowe right behind him there with a good bounce back yesterday after his first difficult result of the season at Road America. He was collected and didn't get a finish, and I think he had been in the top 8 in every race so far, so he had been remarkably consistent. He's still disappointed. I asked him if he kind of felt like this is going according to plan so far. How much patience do you have? And he said, yeah, I'm a race driver. I don't have a lot of patience. I really want and need a win as soon as possible.
With 27 laps to go, one of the things in the second half of this race I'll be watching is who's holding onto those Firestone tires. The track temp now has hit 130 degrees, and despite it only saying 71 degrees outside, it sure feels hotter. It's race number 2. The physicality of this racetrack is going to take something out. You may see drivers start to make mental errors in the second half of the race. We saw it right at the end yesterday, Juven making that mistake on a lapped car, giving up that podium. But the tires as well, wearing out. This new pavement has a lot of grip, puts a lot of load into those Firestones, and they will wear over the course of the race. They're continuing to go quicker and quicker. Louis Foster that time, 1:13.9, about a tenth faster than Kyle Collette, who's at least staying in the picture today.
There's the gap. Yeah, he is staying within range. So he's showing a little bit more pace, and see the last lap time within a tenth. Fastest lap of the race. Those were the fastest. So he's only a tenth off the fastest lap. So if there is a caution to bunch them up, maybe Collette has something for Foster today. Reese Gold having a great day, running in 3rd. He's also showing pace. Has a little bit of work to do, though. There is definitely a difference between the top 2 and the rest of the field. But just as I say that, Foster just picked up about a half a second or more on Colette there to gap just a little bit. Further back to Gold and Abel. And then there's Bryce Aaron from Andretti running in 5th, which would be his best result of the season. He's finished 8th a couple of times. Bryce is just 20 years old, from Illinois. Has spent most of his time racing in Europe. Team USA scholarship winner. Ran in Formula Fords, ran in GB3, won races last year in the Euro Formula Open Championship. But this is all new. All of these tracks in America are new for Bryce. So this is really well done. As he gets into the second half of the season, I think he's starting to find his feet a little bit.
And understand what it takes to drive these cars. This is all of those cars you mentioned racing in Europe are a lot lighter, a lot smaller. These are big, heavy, real race cars. Not that those aren't real, but they feel real when you're in your hands and under your feet, holding on to that much horsepower, that much downforce, that much weight for 35 laps around Laguna Seca, not just once but twice in a weekend, is a real test, and Bryce is doing a great job today.
Well, let's learn more about the Andretti team with someone who knows something about doing well at this racetrack, with DJ.
Yeah, Michael Andretti, you not only know success here as a team owner, but you know it as a driver as well. Talk to me about how great of a job that Louis is doing right now at the front of this field.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with him. He's done really well. I think all year he's driven really well. He had some bad luck in the beginning of the year, but you know, even when things weren't going good, he kept his head on straight and drove really well, driving up through the field in a couple races. And you know, I knew when he was doing that he's got his act together, and when it all comes right, it will. And that's what's happening right now.
Well, I mean, yesterday it looked like he was absolutely untouchable. Today he's got a little bit of pressure from Caio Collet, but it looks like he is just absolutely managing perfectly.
Yeah, I think he's managing the race right now. I don't think he's trying to take too much out of his tires, but keep just enough to give a gap in case he makes a little mistake here or there. And I think he's doing a really good job.
He's doing a really good job, and Michael, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
Two-time winner from pole here. His dad Mario won 3 poles here. There's the Andretti hairpin, which is turn 2. Foster continues to cruise. Meanwhile, we talked about Jonathan Brown and the mechanical issues that are having. Maybe a little more intel listening into the radio.
All right, so to fix this issue, bud, we would need to go to Delara to get a part, and it would still take us about half the race to get it swapped over. Your call if you want to try to get back out there, or just leave it be. Let's try.
Yeah, agreed. You're here. They're still learning to do. Jonathan Brown is also a rookie at this level after running in the USF Pro 2000 Championship the last couple of years. And they don't race here. So this is a track that he's not raced at. So laps help is what you're really trying to do if you're a rookie. You're trying to build into a championship campaign for year number 2.
That's right. You build that foundation so that you come back next year and are that much more prepared.
Here's that battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th, which is tight. Sundermorthy, Rowe, De Alba Jr. Jack William Miller in the blue car, not too far behind either, in 9th. Then there's a little gap back to James Rowe. There's De Alba. Michel Jourdain Jr. works with him, has been very instrumental in his career. Helped get him connected with Andretti Autosport at the time. So this is an Andretti Cape car. Cape Motorsports, Dominic, Nicholas, and their crew run this car, but it's a technical relationship with Andretti. And already for next year, De Alba is moving over to the 4-car Andretti team. So that was announced as part of this, but this was important for the Capes, who moved up from winning virtually every year in USF 2000, but that was a big jump to do it on their own last year in Indy Next. So having Andretti this year has really helped them out. This is the battle for the last podium spot as we get a little bit closer to the midpoint of the race. Reese Gold, who was quick yesterday before an off-track excursion, took him out of contention. And Jacob Abel looking to score more big championship points. Jacob came into the day, race 1 point out of the championship lead, and you see as they run with Foster cruising, looking to win for the 4th time in 5 races, and Andretti going for a 5th straight win. He'd take a pretty nice leap in the championship if it holds this way.
And Kyle Collette as well, running second. If he comes away from today with another second place finish, that'll help get him closer to the championship conversation. They obviously need some missteps from Louis Foster to get right there, but this back half of this calendar is stacked with more ovals. Louis maybe didn't have as much success on the ovals last year, so he needs to take advantage on these classic American road courses. In this fight with James Rowe back in 11th, and everyone stacked up behind him.
I saw Callum Hedge in that black number 17 car trying to get a look on Christian Brooks. Not close enough that time, but they are all hooked together as the snake rolls through the final corners of this racetrack, coming back on the main straightaway now.
And as a reminder, Christian Brooks, this is only his second Indy Next race. Hadn't driven an Indy Next car before practice on Friday. Nolan Siegel taking advantage and moving up to IndyCar in a multi-year. Oh, almost got that wrong though.
Real close between Brooks and James Rowe. It's side by side a little further back.
Christian Bogle and Nolan Aller there side by side further back.
Aller will stay in front for that 15th position. So we'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, let's talk again about Jacob Abel, who has led the championship much of the season, now finds himself looking up to Louis Foster and running fourth in this race. DJ.
Yeah, I just had a chance to talk to the Able Motorsports camp, and they said he's thinking long-term in this race. He's waiting back a little bit, hopefully going to allow for P1 and 2 to burn up their tires a little bit in what was a closer battle than yesterday, and that'll put him in prime position to make an attack here later on in the race. I also had a chance to talk to Jacob earlier in the weekend, and he's thinking long-term about this entire season.
Yeah, to be honest, the second half of the season, we were really strong in last year, and I'm really looking forward to it this year. Honestly, our worst tracks, I think, are behind us, you know, in terms of tracks that we've historically not been super great at. So, yeah, we're going to focus forward. I think we're very confident headed in, you know, here to Laguna Seca. All the ovals I have a lot of experience on, and we were really strong on them last year. So, yeah, I think we'll be looking good moving forward, and really excited, especially for the ovals.
Callum Hedge has gone around.
Nivel de carga, 30%.
And allow us to stay green. Nice look at the go-kart track in the background. Let's see, he is at... Well, now the front of the field is going to catch up with him soon. Oh, it's not starting.
We'll see what race control decides to do here.
Try again to start.
He was trying to get inside of Christian Brooks, and he got on the curbs there.
Into the dirt, into the curbs, and stalled on the outside, and we are yellow now. Full course yellow to go get that number 17 Tasman Motorsport Group car for Callum Hedge.
So, just like yesterday, the lead for... Did he just get it started immediately when they went yellow? That's the way it always works, but the pack was catching up, and you got to go yellow. The lead from Louis Foster goes away. Hey, how about that? Jonathan Brown is back on track, so much quicker than 30 minutes to secure the part from Dallara that was needed to repair that car. So, unfortunately, he's 10 laps down, but now gets a chance to race and learn. And also, if he really wants to, it's a tough call. You're 10 laps down. He's going to be at the back of the pack, so he can attack and race. What's the philosophy on that? You're still trying to learn.
As a driver, I think you may attack and race some of the cars in front of you, especially if you're clearly quicker, but you have to be a little circumspect. You have to be smarter with it because you're racing lead lap cars. Everyone else is on the lead lap except for Callum Hedge. No one else is 10 laps down. So he's kind of on an island results-wise, and he can race and learn, but he has to be a little smarter about it.
So maybe you pass someone you are much faster than, and otherwise you just kind of run in line. I've seen drivers sometimes too when their laps down. They may even gap. You know, when they know they can't really safely pass someone, you're just trying to, really, because that's the goal now. Can I have the fastest lap of the race? Can I have the top 5 fastest lap of the race? Show that I'm learning something.
Yeah. Go out, do the laps, take advantage of all those laps on offer. for the rest of the race and learn as much as you possibly can so that when you come back next year, you have that information in your data bank.
So Kyle Collette has had 3 chances, including starts in both races, 1 restart yesterday, to try to figure out a way around Louis Foster. And then behind Collette, if he gets too aggressive, that opens the door potentially for goal to Aaron and others. So here is what happened to Callum Hedge, and this is under review. So the question would be, did Brooks squeeze him too much and force him onto the curbs there?
I'm glad I'm not officiating this race. Just like you said, Kevin, it's a hard role as a steward to make a call on that. And will be interesting to see what they do, but they are coming to green this time by as they come down the rainy curve.
Nice, quick caution. Hedge is at the back of the pack, so he can continue his race. And now, what does the field have for Louis Foster, who has controlled the situation through the entire weekend? This left-hander is where he will get on the gas again, heading up the hill. This is about a half a mile in the run down to the hairpin. Green again. As we get to the midpoint of WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, Foster, Collette, Gold, Abel, Aaron, Sundermorthy. The top 6, and a challenge further back, Bryce Aaron trying to hold off Sundermorthy, and Hedge is mixed up in the middle of that. So he is a lap down, mixing it up there with the leaders. That's the 17 car that you see.
Salvador de Alba get misstepped there by the lap car of Callum Hedge. He's not a command blue flag. Even Sundermorthy talked about that at the beginning of the show. That means he has to get out of the way, and until he's a lap down to the whole field, he does not have to get out of the way. He can still race.
Good restart for Louis Foster, who is already gapped, and Nolan Aller has gone around and off track further back in the pack.
That's at turn 4, coming through that infield loop, coming.
Make sure you get your tires cleaned off, shake the car a little bit, get all the rocks off.
No yellow needed. Aller is back away in the Fago car with HMD Motorsports. Let's see what happened. If he went around on his own or if he had some help. He was battling. He was right behind a side-by-side battle and then went around. It's feisty back there. Race control has looked at the Hedge caution and whether there was anything untoward with either Hedge or Christian Brooks, and no action will be taken. So let's see, back up front, no change there from the restart. Top 10 plus is still as it was. This is the battle for third right here. Jacob Abel is still working on Reese Gold, and he's within range, trying to get back to the podium.
DJ gave us a report that Jacob Abel was trying to bide his time in this race. It doesn't look like he's biding his time at all at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's going to try to score some points and get this position. He probably feels like that's realistic, and then if he can get there, that's where you take what's available. You look to find another day. Clearly, Foster and Collette are a little bit quicker this weekend, but there will be other places where Jacob Abel will be quicker, and we kind of think he's going to have a little bit of an advantage on Mini when we get to the Mini ovals left in the rest of the schedule.
That's right. When you start talking about going to Iowa and Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, Nashville, Milwaukee, all 4 of those could lean towards a Jacob Abel stronger outing. So he's going to try and do some damage control here and get ready to take advantage. DJ said he's playing the long game, not just in this race, but all season as well.
Let's check in on James Rowe, the 29 Andretti car, and their radio.
What's going on? There's no rear. No rear. I can't turn the car. It's like it's just on an edge. Copy that. Make sure you use your tools.
So what do you do with the tools that are available in the next car, and then how can you as a driver help save the rears?
So when you're loose like that, the rear of the car wants to come around, you can soften that rear anti-roll bar, gives you a little more grip out of the rear. You can stiffen the front, kind of numb the front grip a little bit so the steering's not as sharp. But also, you have to slow your hands down. You don't attack the rear tire as much in the corner. You just tip the car in, you do everything just a little more circumspect-wise. You don't really push and attack the grip of the tire as much.
Back to pit lane and DJ.
Yeah, Kevin, I had a chance to talk to HMD a little bit about Kyle Collette, and they frankly said that that restart was their last best opportunity to chase down Louis Foster. However, there is a bright side in all of it. They said yesterday, if we remember, Louis did not use any push to pass in his dominant victory. He's having to use it today. They've cut the gap down a little bit, and that's going to do a lot to just help that momentum for Kyle Collette. And Charlie, you can, I'm sure, talk about that even though it's not a win, being able to bring that gap down is massive for a driver.
When you get closer to the speed and pace of a dominant performance like Louis Foster this weekend, it does a lot of things for your confidence. And standing on the podium 2 days in a row, back-to-back in a doubleheader, yes, you'd like to be on the top step for either or both of them, but you build that momentum. He cuts the championship, his deficit to second. He loses ground to the leader with Louis Foster, but he keeps himself in that conversation. And if he's going to want to be a part of the championship contention talks later in the year, it's results like this where you get what you have and keep making it better.
Last lap was a half a second better for Collette. Further back, this is Jack William Miller and Josh Pearson, and Pearson hits the dirt. So this is back for 13th. So Miller was running 10th, so he's lost a few positions.
Since the restart, Ricardo Escoto has leapt 4 spots up since the start of the race. He is 6 positions further up.
He started in 18th. And as you said, since the restart is where he started to get things done.
Christian and Josh Pearson still going at it.
For 14th. So Pearson trying to get by Miller, lost a position to Bogle. And more dirt kicked up. Is that Pearson again?
That looked a little further up the order.
Okay.
But I haven't seen anyone lose a spot from that. It is so easy. Once you use all that paved road, plus the curbs, plus anything else out there that you can run on. Get a replay of this.
Yeah, it's further up.
Miles Rowe just dropping a wheel. Loses some ground to the car in front of him of Yuvan Sunderworthy, but Callum Hedge, that black car behind, is not on the lead lap.
Here's Miles Rowe, still running in 7th, but lost a little bit of time up to Sunderworthy. Here's 3rd. This is mostly the way it's looked much of the race. So challenging to find a place to overtake here. Well, you're just simply trying to force someone into a mistake, yes?
A lot of that is pushing them into a mistake or having them have to defend and lose the momentum and take advantage of that momentum shift in the next corner. But overtaking is so hard. The elevation here at Laguna Seca is dramatic. There's 180 feet of elevation difference. And both Jacob Abel and Reese Gold will be using their push to pass here to try and, for Reese Gold, defend that position. For Jacob Abel, steal that last podium spot from Reese Gold.
Back up front, Louis Foster rolls through turn 5 now. Kyle Collette still within a couple of seconds of him. Just a 10th off on fastest.
14.0 and 14.1, so feel free to use it. 10 seconds per lap remaining.
There you go. This climb up the hill to the corkscrew, that's 100 feet there. Now we're going to drop 150 feet just like that through the corkscrew, through Rainy Curve.
And the banking here in turn 10, there's so much compression. The car loads up, gets so heavy right there. There's more banking in that corner than there is at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, that's fascinating. When I read that again, I'd read it a few years ago and saw it coming to this weekend, so I started asking my driver friends, really? Is that right? Yep, that is right. There's several corners on the road course that are banked more than the track where they race the Indy 500. Thank you for joining us today with NBC Sports on Peacock. Kevin Lee, Charlie Kimball, DJ Clark, the second half of the Indy Next doubleheader weekend. And we will go racing today in the NTT IndyCar Series coming up on USA Network whenever NASCAR is done from New Hampshire, and maybe potentially even a little bit earlier here on Peacock as well. 6 p.m. is the scheduled air time, about a 6:30 Eastern time green flag. That is 3:30 local. Alex Palou on the pole. No Penske's in the top 6. Scott Dixon starting 10th. He won from 11th last year. So a lot of good storylines in this one as we get close to the midpoint of the IndyCar Championship.
Great qualifying result yesterday from Alexander Rossi, the only Chevrolet in the top 6. Really nice to see him get that qualifying result into the Firestone Fast 6 here at the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey.
Bryce Aaron still doing a real nice job in 5th, and he has joined that battle. Now he's up there, sniffing a podium just a little bit. And James Rowe has gone off, and it looks like he's got contact somewhere. That right rear is flimsy.
My right rear push rod's broken.
So, will this bring out a yellow, or can he limp it home?
That is right before the pit entry, so he should be able to get into pit lane. The problem is getting around the hairpin in pit lane. This will be the hardest part for James Rowe. Sure. Funnily enough, we've seen
just went on me.
Drivers
down the hill.
Ooh. Did you hear that? It just went.
Look at the bend in that suspension there. And it's already broken. There's no contact that caused that.
Down the hill, it just went. Rear, look at the right rear.
Oh, too bad. It's been a good weekend for James Rowe. Yesterday, he ran up near the front the entire race. Came home with a 5th place finish, his 3rd top 5 of the season. Was having a decent day here today, but he is not going to get a result. So we stay green, inside 10 laps to go. We mentioned Ricardo Escoto in just his 3rd Indy Next race, continuing to move forward. He's up to 11th now, DJ.
Yes, he is, and I've caught up with a member of the Juncos Hollander team here, Alex Noel, and you've got to be so proud of your driver just continuing to drive up through the field here at this point.
Yeah, it's been really good to have him on board, and he's been learning a lot. Obviously, he doesn't have a lot of time in the car. So it's pretty impressive to see what he's been doing with not a lot of seat time, and kind of just see what we can grow with the next couple races that he's going to do with us.
Well, it seems like every race he's been able to get into the car, he's been able to build that confidence, build that momentum. Are you as a team feeling that as well?
Yeah, for sure. Detroit was really impressive, obviously, with how technical that street course is. This track is also super technical, so it's good to see how we were able to improve from practice to the race, and looking forward to kind of the next steps.
Well, those next steps will be happening here in a few weeks' time. Alex Noel, thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
Meanwhile, it's gone away for Reese Gold again, and we have a new podium contender. Reese Gold has gone off. Bryce Aaron got by Gold and Abel. And I think
there
he was just
contact on the left front. That push rod on the left front is broken on that 10 car.
Get some penalties today.
I think someone asked Reese, did he send you? So.
And I was trying so hard, guys.
Was there contact with Abel? Was there contact with Aaron? We're looking to see if we can find this. Unfortunately, 2nd day in a row, a fast car is not going to get a result for Reese Gold. Let's see what happened.
This is up into the corkscrew. A late move with Jacob Abel on the inside.
So hard to tell with a tight shot like that. Oh, my. I feel for Reese Gold, but that's a brilliant shot.
And when it came down and landed on the asphalt, that's what folded up the left front push rod. And as he comes back on, Jacob Abel goes in the dirt, and Bryce Aaron says, "Thank you very much, I'll take 2."
If I didn't say it, I know I was thinking it a few minutes ago that Bryce Aaron is very interested in that battle for the last podium spot and ready to pounce.
And watch as he comes down. That's what breaks the suspension. Incredible camera work by our team here. Really unbelievable shots showing exactly what went on.
So Bryce Aaron now, with his best finish on the season, 8th a couple of times, is in position to finish on the podium. Jacob Abel still running in 4th. And there is going to be a penalty, avoidable contact.
Drive-through penalty for contact.
On the 51 of Jacob Abel, huge in the championship. Instead of scoring 4th place points, he's going to fall back to the tail end of the lead lap. Reese Gold is out of the car.
I don't think so.
Okay. Quick update, yeah, Reese Gold is out of the car here at this point. That left front suspension is bent. There's a big donut on the car. Reese is officially out of the race.
What a shame.
It's this lap. It's this lap.
Jacob Abel getting the instruction from his team to come in and serve that drive-through penalty.
So points as they run was 22. We'll let them do the math, and in a lap or so we'll see what kind of a penalty that is in the championship for Jacob Abel. With still plenty of racing to go. This is just round 8 of 14. Keep that in mind. And a slew of ovals still to come. By the way, next is Mid-Ohio coming up in a couple of weeks, Sunday afternoon. The 7th.
Nivel de carga, 20%.
And then at the same time, virtually, this happened. This is Jamie Chadwick in the blue and white 28, Miles Rowe in the 99, Callum Hedge a lap down, Christian Brooks right behind. Brooks trying to sneak through Chadwick. Here's on board with Jamie Chadwick. Through the kink, headed to turn 2, the hairpin.
She was trying to get to the bottom. Oh, Miles Rowe definitely faded out there for the turn in. It'll be interesting to see if
Moving on the break, keep time.
And it's not going to matter because she's going by him anyways, up the hill into turn 6.
It's under review.
But she has a broken front wing as well, so she'll have to hang on for these last 5 laps with that front wing as Christian Brooks goes inside Miles Rowe into the corkscrew.
So they're still looking at that. And Miles is losing a little bit of pace, and you can, yeah, Charlie, you spotted it there. That wing is not stable for Jamie Chadwick, the blue and white car leading this little pack. Can it hang on, though, with 5 laps remaining? Because she is up to 6th place.
What a great fight back for Jamie Chadwick. She's up 8 spots from the start of this event.
Let's hear from Reese Gold with DJ.
Reese Gold, obviously not the position you want to be in here. Down on pit lane talking to me, but what happened out there?
Yeah, I haven't seen the replay yet, but he had a good run coming out of 6, so I defended into the corkscrew but left a car width, and I tried to go side by side with him, and he just drove me off. So, I mean, obviously I haven't seen the replay yet, but from what in the moment, it felt like he just didn't leave any room there and, you know, kind of just bumpered me off, but, you know, it's racing.
Well, and obviously very disappointed, Reese Gold. We'll see you in 2 weeks in Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it sounds like race control, though, agreed with Reese, because Jacob Abel was assessed a drive-through, and the math tabulated, that's a loss of 15 points. He goes from 22 back at the moment to 37 back in the championship. And Louis Foster was down by more than 50 after 3 or 4 rounds. Because it was the Siegel and Abel battle. Here's a lockup for Miles Rowe. Callum Hedge is a lap down, and Miles is going to go off.
He had that lockup earlier, and the problem with a flat spot, Jacob Abel on his fight back now looking at Ricardo Escoto coming down the straight, take that free spot from Miles Rowe. Miles has got a bigger problem. He's got a flat right front.
Yeah, he's going to have a tough time making 4 laps to go, and he is dropping down the order, and he is going to be at the tail end of the lead lap really soon.
I wonder if that right front was starting from that lockup earlier in the day, if it was starting to go flat, it had a puncture in it, and that's what caused the lockup, or chicken or the egg here, did the right front lockup wear a hole in it, and that's what caused it to go flat.
So where is he at on the track right now? How much farther does he have to go?
Far away.
Yeah,
he's at turn 4.
Oh boy. He's got a mile and a half or so to go at half speed. So inside 3 laps to go. With Louis Foster still in control. Kyle Collette, that's the way it's been all weekend. But Bryce Aaron from Andretti Global is third in this race. Yuvan Sunmorthy is back where he ended up yesterday in 4th. Salvador De Alba Jr. running in 5th. So Andretti has 3 of the top 5. There are 10 HMD cars, but Andretti has 3 of the top 5.
And Jamie Chadwick's there in 6th, and she's moved up 8 spots since the start. Riding on board with her here. If this holds out, she will move up 3 spots in the championship to 5th in the championship, Kevin.
Yeah, so 4 of the top 6 if you include that 5th car, Andretti with Cape Motorsports. There's the championship as Abel picks up a couple of spots with the Miles Rowe issue, so that helps him, picks up a couple of points, moving up a position to 11th on the track, and he is in striking range of getting past maybe Jack William Miller or Josh Pearson, maybe even Christian Bogle. So there are still 3 more spots. Abel could get as high as 8th if he's really aggressive in these final couple of laps. So we saw a little contact earlier on. Jamie Chadwick was complaining about Miles Rowe in the 99, and the 99 has been deemed guilty of blocking, but it's essentially you've served the penalty because the tire failed and he's already moved it back. So nothing else will be adjudicated out of that. Miles Rowe is now on pit lane. Here's Jacob Abel trying to get back inside the top 10, salvage what he can. Jack William Miller at his best finish in his rookie season yesterday in 10th in that blue Patterson Dental and Haven Go car, trying to hang on to that position.
And I don't know if Jacob Abel saved any push to pass because he was trying to use all of it to get past Reese Gold for the podium, but if he has any left, it's worth those 50 extra horsepower. You're limited to 150 seconds during the course of the race, but if he's got any left, he's going to try and get past as much as he can, quickly as he can, because we're on a white flag lap here.
Yeah,
Kevin.
Louis Foster just took the white flag. He's already exited the hairpin, exit of turn 3. Very comfortable position for Louis Foster. Kyle Collette has been a little bit quicker, but here just in the last few laps, Foster decided, you know what, I'm going to make sure I end up with the fastest lap, so he pulled out the best one, and it's now 0.4 of a second better than what Collette has been able to do. Talked about Callum Hedge turning fast laps. He has turned a fast one, a lap down, but he's turned the 3rd fastest lap of the race. Nolan Aller has the 4th quickest lap of the race, and then Yuvan Sunmorthy, the top 5 in quickest lap, 4th in the race. But as we saw yesterday, just because you're in a podium position in the final lap does not mean you will end up on the podium. It changed in the final corner yesterday. No dramas for Louis Foster, though. It is going to be a weekend sweep. Foster dominates WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca and takes a command in the championship. Foster wins.
Thank you so much. You guys are amazing.
Kyle Collette comes home 2nd. Then there are some battles after that. Bryce Aaron trying to hang on for a podium spot. He's some 15 seconds behind. To the line, Bryce Aaron trying to hold off Yuvan Sunmorthy is going to do it. Sunmorthy comes home 4th. Salvador De Alba Jr. 5th. And Jamie Chadwick is going to get a 6th place result. Christian Brooks, 7th in his 2nd IndyNext race. What a weekend it's been for him. Christian Bogle, 2nd straight strong result, and that was after being asked to give up positions earlier. He comes home 8th. Nice result for Josh Pearson, and Jack William Miller holds off one of the championship contenders in the final couple of laps to get his 2nd straight top 10, matching his best results.
Talk about dominance. 5 sessions this weekend, 5 with Louis Foster on top. Won by 8 seconds yesterday, 4 seconds today. Never in any doubt. Led every lap. Unbelievable weekend for Louis Foster. He has been flying.
Here are final results from today.
Louis Foster with the win. Kyle Collette doing a great job, doing what he needs to try and chase down Jacob Abel in the championship. Bryce Aaron, a great podium for Andretti Global, first and third, with Bryce Aaron picking up that podium after that issue with Reese Gold and Jacob Abel.
I feel like this was a big weekend for several. Bryce Aaron really stands out. Certainly Louis Foster. That's not a huge surprise, though. We thought it was coming for Louis Foster. Kyle Collette confirming what he is. But for young drivers like Bryce Aaron, Yuven Sundermorthy, Salvador De Alba Jr. to come out with a result gives them a lot of confidence going into the second half of the season.
And Christian Brooks, my driver of the weekend, coming in cold, getting 2 good results in that 39 car.
So here's how the championship stands. We're now into the second half of the season. Yes, the battle seems to be down to 2, probably 3. I think Collette is still in the mix, but a lot of pride there. Look at how tight it is between 4th through, really, you go to 9th or 10th.
It is very tight. The Indy Next Series with 2021 cars has been very competitive all year long. Louis Foster knows his way to victory lane and has made his way down there to collect his hardware.
And that is 4 in 5 races. It is 5 in a row for Andretti Global.
Don't let them get hot.
They lead the championship with Louis Foster, 35 in front of Jacob Abel right now. And the top HMD car, which has dominated the championship the last couple of years, is Collette in third, 84 points back.
3 different teams in the top 3 in the championship. And another HMD car in 4th and Andretti car in 5th.
We're in store for good stuff in the finish with a lot of ovals to come and another classic road course coming up in 2 weeks at Mid-Ohio. All right, let's hear from him again. A win for a second day in a row, and Louis Foster, DJ, should be getting pretty used to chatting with you in victory lane.
He and I are going to be good buddies by the end of this season if things continue on. A big high five to himself there. And how you doing from Louis Foster. He's going to come around here. He's going to congratulate the team as they go. As he said yesterday, this is all about the team giving him a good car. But Louis is here. He comes. One final heads up as he goes. A little water there for Louis Foster. And Louis, this is huge for you. Obviously, not just 2 wins on the trot, but for the larger championship. You're in the lead, and with your closest competitor having a drive-through penalty here, this sets you up magically for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, like I said yesterday, Andretti's given us an amazing car. I've just been out there doing my thing. It's been a great weekend, sunny skies in California. You know, you can't ask for anything more. So yeah, super happy with it. We've worked really hard to be here, so I'm really happy that it's paying in dividends now.
It certainly is. Louis Foster, a very happy victor here today.
Yeah, thank you.
Very impressive work. Louis Foster now up 35 in the championship. The day is just getting started. Keep your stream open on Peacock. Keep it on USA Network to see what's happening with NASCAR, and we'll be on right when NASCAR from New Hampshire is complete, scheduled for 6 o'clock Eastern today. For IndyCar from Monterrey, what a weekend for Louis Foster, sweeping the doubleheader at Laguna Seca. For DJ Clark and Charlie Kimball, I'm Kevin Lee. Thanks for joining us on Peacock.
Nivel de carga, 20%.